Hi there, welcome to another educational video documenting my Web3 expeditions. This is an important video where we will be talking about Zora, everything you need to know about Zora, positioning yourself for bullish opportunities out of Zora, with respect to NFT mints, and also how to use Zora for your productivity. And that's the scope of this video. If you have questions during any period, pertaining to any aspect of the video, contact me through Airdrop C. There's a contact form beneath that you can use to contact me. There's also going to be a resource for Zora with respect to its upcoming airdrop on Airdrop C. Let's get started. So, of course, there's a prospect of an airdrop when it comes to Zora, but that's a bonus or secondary. Our aim with Zora is the measure of productivity you can garner at the moment, which comes in various fashion. We'll be discussing that in the course of this video. Now, remember, Zora is it has an underlying blockchain upon which this flagship dApp is built. So Zora.co leads you to what looks like an NFT based social media platform. Now, underlying to it is a parent blockchain called Zora. So in the course of using Zora, you'll be interacting with the Zora blockchain. Now, you can also be positioned for a variety of other airdrops through your use of the Zora dApp, because many mint operations involve other tokenless chains. In some cases, you also go through a bridge. You also interact with an infrastructure called Conduit, amongst other things. So, bottom line, your interactions with Zora positions you for a variety of airdrop prospects. So that's one productivity to keep in mind when using Zora. Okay. Now, starting out, of course, you set up your account. That, considering this is a dApp, your access to your account is through your MetaMask wallet. There are a variety of mediums by which you can log into Zora. MetaMask Wallet Connect if you're using a phone to log in onto the desktop, amongst other options. So that's established. You can get started. You set up your profile name typically like you would on a social media platform. Now, Zora has an app, but according to me, it's recommended to make use of the browser version for a full experience. The app is not fully optimized yet. It doesn't capture the totality of functionalities obtainable on Zora. So if you are using the app, you have minimal experience using the app. Now, if you were to use Zora on a phone, best to do so using the browser. Just go into MetaMask or directly in your browser, connects through MetaMask. Okay, so the experience is different when you're accessing Zora using a browser compared to the app. That said, let's get started. Now, this video will focus on taking advantage of mint opportunities to get those, some people call it a 100x prospect. This is the only video you will need to accomplish that. We will talk about some of the technicalities surrounding that as well, which I don't think people are aware of in the public. So here is, these are actually posts by different authors. You can use this as an outlet to find mints. So basically, you can mint a post and have ownership of it as an NFT. But there's another aspect which was recently introduced by Zora that improves the value proposition overall. That's where the 100x prospect comes about. The prize discovery mechanism, which now involves a fungible token, which we will discuss in a bit. Typically with NFTs, you mint an NFT. It's a different token standard from a traditional token, and generally you have an illiquid market. Now, they've introduced a technicality that allows for a liquid market, meaning you can now trade your mints as a token. Okay, So you will see very quickly here that while there are posts that just recently were published, there is also a now on secondary category. Now, what does this mean? It means that these posts have been minted enough, to where there's now a secondary market for it. Now, for context sake, to just establish context very quickly, this NFT had a minting event which was completed, and in the aftermath of the mint event, a market was instituted, a secondary market, which leads to a launch on a platform like DEX Screener. I mean, liquidity was added to the DEX. We will talk about this, not to worry. So there's an entire market for that NFT, and evidence of that market on DEX Screener, considering that the NFT has a replica of the NFT has been a fungible token replica of the NFT has had liquidity bootstrapped on Uniswap, and it's also tradable as a token. We'll get to that in a bit, not to worry. I'm just relaying this for context sake going forward. Okay, so that you understand now the technicalities of why you now have a 100x opportunity out of just minting an NFT. For example, the ZAC BTC. Let's go quickly. Many people started using Zora because of an NFT that was published by this popular user, Twitter user. Oh, looks like there is another one. Oh, this is an older one, okay? So now, if we quickly, for context sake, if we look at this older NFT, you will see that there is no market for the NFT on DEX Screener, because this iteration is a recent iteration that furthers the ability of Zora, adjust the mechanics of price discovery, creates for a now liquid NFT situation. So that's one of the limitations of NFTs generally, an illiquid market. So you see, this was 6 months ago. The technology that's obtainable today wasn't obtainable at this stage. Now, if you compare this to this, the more recent NFT that was instituted by ZachXBT, okay, you will see here that there's an entire market formed on DEX Screener, rose in valuation to as high as, I can't remember, maybe 9 to 10 million market cap. Now, this was deployed on the base chain. Now, that's a factor. Remember this as we continue the conversation. So the reason that this NFT, which was priced originally at around 30 cents, is now valued at 1,659 USD, is because there is a token market for this NFT, which we'll talk about in a bit. So remember, during the institution of this NFT and the sale event, the base price is around $0.3, right? 30 cents. Now, typically, this NFT will struggle to rise in valuation. Now, let's showcase that. So if I was to collect this, you will see that the pricing of this, assuming I wanted to pay for this, is in the realm of, say, $2 or so. So you see here 1.96, and the price has stayed static since 6 months ago, because the mechanics here of price discovery is different. It involves an NFT. So this is an actual NFT, no market formed for it. No fungible token market formed for it. Now, in contrast, if you look here, we will explain this, you will understand it, not to worry. The reason that this NFT, what is supposed to be an NFT, can now rise in value is because at the same time, there is a fungible token created for in association with this NFT that changes the dynamics of price discovery. Okay, so not to worry, keep that in mind. You'll understand it as we proceed. Okay, so this is a good scenario to explain what we are talking about. Now, if you go to activities here, you will see the activity here. Someone collected, someone sold. Now, it's very possible that some of what's displayed here came from trades directly on Uniswap here. So if you came here to this market and you attempt to buy the 243M token directly on Uniswap, that activity would typically show here. Okay, we'll talk about that later on. Okay, so now having this in mind, since the inception of the ZAC XBT NFT, which grew in popularity, people have rallied onto Zora looking for similar opportunities. Now, how do you perfect your expedition in that regard? How do you find similar prospects as ZAC XBT? Is it possible for a ZAC XBT situation to occur again? And the answer is yes. But there are many factors at play which you need to have in mind. It will help in your due diligence. Basically, here you will see that there were 2,800 mints before the window of the NFT sale ended. Now, that's a very minimalistic supply. We'll break down as we head on, how that plays into the initial liquidity, initial market cap, and stuff like that. So considering that there were only 2.8k mints of this NFT, there's a representation of that in token terms. For now, we'll just assume 2.8 thousand tokens. That will impact the market cap, considering the initial price is 30 cents. If you multiply it by the supply, you'll get the market cap. So this started at a very small market cap. Now, of course, the supply is in the hands of a few as well. Some people may have max minted this, with some having 111 tokens out of 2.8 and all that. So anyway, you get the gist. Now, in comparison to another such like NFT mints that's ongoing, you can now gauge the prospect, even with that parameter alone, of a new token currently in launch, in sale phase. So you can find tokens like that here. These is trending, for example. This is called Sunset. We will not go into mint for now. Let's look at some of the parameters surrounding this. You will see here 132k already minted. We can just assume at this stage that this will be 132 tokens, valued at 30 cents, that will be used to bootstrap initial liquidity. Not in totality. This is just an estimate. We'll go into the exact technicalities there. The exact technicalities is in the documentation, by the way, and the structure of how this works. So you will see here there is a fee breakdown. So the creator, let's assume that the pricing of the NFT is in the realm of, now it's represented by this star stuff, So I think so let's quickly go back here. Let's say I was to collect this and I wanted to collect one. You will see the price is 111. But this 111 is basically 30 cents in, crypto valuation. We will come to this. You see, you have different chains upon which you can mint. We will also come to this later on, so that there is no need to bridge funds generally from one chain to the next, considering you can bridge out, you can mint directly from any of these chains. Now, that said, if we went here, okay, so you will see that of the 111, or, let's say per mint 30 cents, it's broken down, divided into different categories here. Creator takes 55, a portion of that $0.3. Now it's priced in ETH, of course, so that zero point 0.3 can fluctuate a bit. It can be 30 cents, 31 cents, or something like that. Okay, so now per mint. So when you are minting here, you pays, let's say you pay 30 cents. A portion is going to the creator. So this is basically an entire fundraising event. And when the fundraising event completes, a token is launched automatically via smart contract. So this is basically like Pump Fund, but with a social element. You know, without your knowledge, you've already launched an entire token and project for the token. Imagine being able to respond to all the users here after the token is instituted to, you know, steer a community event. Very powerful stuff, but it doesn't look possible to, I don't know if it's possible on the mobile chat. I'll be exploring that. That's one of the productivity possible that would have been powerful. Okay, so anyway, wow, this is going to end in 3 minutes. 2 minutes. I would have liked to collect this, but I wouldn't. I would settle down to really do due diligence. We'll talk about that. In fact, I minted an NFT with $200 to $300, and it's now worth $50 as we speak. So that possibility does exist, and I'll tell you why. So this is an important video altogether. I would have hurriedly minted this. You know, it may have the prospect of rising in valuation, in some cases by 2x, 3x. This is the founder of the platform, so he has a measure of influence on, you know, the performance of these memes and stuff like that, which we will also talk about in this video. But you need to you have awareness so that you can do due diligence. We can also look at the performance of Jacob related mints and stuff like that. But anyway, not to digress, if you look at details here, you will see creator earning so far of all the contributions here is 7.3 million. This star, you know, if you were to calculate it, let's quickly use a calculator. So that now that this is for those who are socially inclined, want to also, you know, interact socially on Zora for the prospect of having an entire token launch, an entire community fund raise and stuff like that. So this will put some things into perspective. So 7.3 million, let's say, okay, divided by 111. So this is around 65. Let's put it, no, I think times 0.3. So this is around how much was raised by Jacob based on what's on display here. 7.3 million star. But it's not 7.3 million stars contributed total. So to know the number of stars contributed total, you can say 132k, the number of mints, times 111 equal. So around 14,000 14,000 stars were contributed so far. A large bulk goes to the creator based on the breakdown here. Okay, so you see, of the 1111, around 50% goes to the creator, 55. Now the remainder is broken down. Now those who share their referral link, so there are some who may not be interested in posting and stuff like that, but they are curators basically, and they see a mint that has the prospect of visibility, they consider tangible, they propagate it and earn a cut of the referral fees. So that exists. We'll talk about that. Then mint referral. So someone created a referral mint referral. I can't remember the breakdown surrounding this. Maybe you minted, then people mint after you. So after you minted, you propagated the link, and people minted after you. That is, so this I believe is for those who did not mint. They just got a referral link and shared it. But you see, you can incorporate that into your strategy. Now, if you mint first and then you share a link, the cut that you'll be receiving is higher. Okay, so Zora is protocol fees, I believe. I don't know how many percent is this, maybe 10% or so. Then 10% to market. Now, this is important because of the funds raised. A portion of it is used to bootstrap liquidity and list a token representation of the NFT on Uniswap. So as soon as the secondary market is launched, the mint fees earned by the market will be deposited into the pool, thus ensuring there is liquidity as soon as the pool starts. Okay, so now we're now talking V3. So it's not necessary that the pair is equal. So now that's a very important criteria there, because it may just change the mechanics of things. Perhaps it's favorable to buy a mint through the markets than minting when it's hot on Zora. I mean, during the sale window. So that I'm thinking of incorporating that into my strategy, because the launch price, I don't think is 30 cents based on what I'm seeing so far. Because if you are talking liquidity, 10% of the funds raised is now. I don't know how much of the supply, the token supply. I would assume the entire token supply is. This is a bit technical, so I'll need to study more on this and through experience, because based on what I'm seeing here, it's likely that the token, upon launching on Uniswap, it starts from a lower value than 30 cents, then begins to rise. Remember, I said that I bought $300 worth of a token, which was the Beast investigation, and it's currently valued at $50 or so. Anyway, I'm just thinking on the spot. That's the nature of my content. It's not a vlog or a blog. It's my own form of content which I created called ulogs. So I don't edit stuff and I evolve in the course of the conversation. Anyway, side note there. I'm just putting it on the side to think about. Okay, so here. So there's a mint function. In fact, it will be interesting to build such, because the code is all open source, all the contracts they've made public, and it's just an interesting platform. Okay, because basically it's also a token launcher, with a social element. I believe the narrative is stronger than a pump fund, sustainability wise and all that. Okay, now so these are some of the technicalities to keep in mind. To mint and a 1155 token, the mint function, so this is a standard, it's a hybrid. I think I can't remember what 115 is, but I think it's a hybrid of a token and a fungible token and a non-fungible token. Slightly different from the 421, or 420 is an iteration of this standard they use for loot boxes, okay, where an NFT also contains tokens inside it. Okay, so basically you relinquish the NFT to get it tokens in turn, something like that. Okay, so function is called Zora timed sale strategy contract with the mint fee of 0 ETH times quantity to mint sent with the call. In the mint call, ETH times quantity is held in escrow to bootstrap liquidity. Okay. The rest is distributed as protocol rewards. Okay. Based on this, I would think that the expectation is that upon launch on the DEX, the valuation starts at lower than 30 cents. That's my, superficial establishment at this stage. But I will study more on this. This is very important in gauging whether a token has the capacity to do well and provide you profit, assuming it launches on the DEX at a lower price than 30 cents, the typical price during the mint phase. Okay, so let's scroll down. Okay, so let's quickly see this. The logic for launching: the secondary market starting price should be, okay, so we're wrong. The secondary market price is expected to be same price as during the NFT sale. There should be an equal amount of ERC20 to ERC token, ERC1155 tokens minted, divided by total supply. Each owned ERC155 should be backed by an unwrappable one ERC20 and vice versa. Now, I didn't want to make this video very lengthy, but this is all important. Now, what is being said is you can gauge what the starting market cap will be once it's instituted on the markets. So if we look here now, if we look at the inside the pool here, we have 273 paired against 36. So 273, I'm guessing it's, the 10% of that 2000, where was it? Oh, I'm learning interesting stuff. So it's likely the 10% of this. The portion of this that will be put in the liquidity pool, to bootstrap the liquidity pool, paired against ETH, at a valuation of 30 cents or 0.000111 ETH, paired against 270 tokens or so, something like that. So it's on that knowledge, it's possible to gauge the starting market cap and prospective performance of a token sale, an NFT sale that you join or an NFT that you mint. We will get back to that. This is very important. So let's just go through this and then continue with the video, just this category here. So to achieve the following logic is to achieve the above, the following logic is used. For the sake of simplicity, one ERC20 represents, okay, let's jump that for each. Okay, just a moment. When the sale ends, referring to an NFT mint event, the market is launched. One ERC20 is minted for each NFT minted. An additional 10% of ERC20 is minted to provide liquidity for the LP position, and the corresponding 10%. Okay, so okay, exactly what I'm saying. The logic of it is simple, basically. Okay, so I'm going to explain that now in practice. So let's go back to Zora. Now, with all this in mind, if you now want to look for a prospect, so this is sunset. Let's see the status. Okay, so you see that just earlier we saw this mint about to complete. It has already launched on DEX screen, and it started at a low, it's already at a lower valuation. So you see here the price is now 20 cents, meaning that if you are not holding, you will be at a loss if you participated in the mint. Now, if we want go back, since there's not much history here, let's go back to the beginning to gain a bit more insight. So you will see here, this was what was added to the liquidity pool at the institution of this market, 13,254, which is what we are talking about here. That's 10% of this, or around 11%. Okay, so now that's paired with now if we multiply 13,000 times where is it, 13,000 times 0.3 equal divided by the price of ETH. So let's say 225. Okay, so 1.56. So around that amount of ETH is added into the pool from the amount of funds raised. So that's what you see here. Around 1. This is just estimate. So 1.47 ETH was added. Now you can use this to quickly gauge, but you see someone quickly sold and he didn't even, it started below the mint price. So someone may be better off minting, buying here instead of minting during the sale. And if you end up buying at bottom price here, that's where you're likely to make a profit. If over time, because if over time, it rises in valuation, even if it gets to the 30, because of the minters, many people will not sell. They will hold because they are already at a loss. So even if you buy from the market, once it's instituted and you buy at a lower valuation, by the time it rises and you hold and it ends up rising in value to say 30 cents, you're already in profit. So you need to take this into consideration, because I experimented, because I like to gather data, and to be able to gather data I had to put a tangible amount. So I put around 300, and very quickly, even at launch, it was already like $80 and then plummeted even further. And I'll tell you some of the factors impacting that. So you'll see here, this was on Zora. Now for a Zora related launch, I would expect it to dip in value based on my experience. Look at the state of Zora. These are all Zora related tokens. There is no liquidity on Zora for the most part. This was another hyped launch. It was hyped, and you see where it started. There's practically no liquidity here, and that's one reason why I believe I lost on the Mr. Beast, which is here, minus 60%, is way lower than this. Although this, amongst all, it may have the prospect of regarnering value, but the reason it's struggling is because it's on Zora. Zora at the moment is not a very popular chain as a place to trade and having robust liquidity compared to Base. Now, if you look at the ZAC one, it's on Base, and Base is more prominent with liquidity, has an airdrop prospect and all that, so people are on there. So the token is more bound to experience visibility on there compared to Zora. If you look at the state of Zora, let's even go to Zora as a chain, Now, this video will turn out lengthier than I expected, but it's relevant. I'm having different people in mind, including builders and all that. So, and I'm also learning. So I've learned a lot already as we speak. So I'll be factoring this into my next moves. And, considering all this, we'll also talk about other productivity. So look at the state of Zora. 24 hours, just reddish. If you were to compare this to Base, for example, you may find, for example, you see this, there's some, bullish situation. Now volume 1.1 billion or so. Let's compare with Zora. We're talking 126k. Wow. And I'm sure the bulk of this volume is coming from Zora, the social media platform. So going forward at this stage, of course, I'll be holding this, just it may have some prospect later on down the road. And you will see, even in terms of token, look at the ages of the token here. It's not currently a prominent chain. So if I were to mint on Zora, for the prospect of ROI, I would exempt Zora related token launches. So this is how you will find that out. How will you find out mints that will launch on Zora versus Base eventually? So you may want to factor that in. Another thing to factor in is, if you want to participate at all, it may be better to buy upon launch right on the DEX at the bottom. You may have an opportunity then to profit. Some people may end up wanting to snipe it and stuff like that. Yes. Now you see the logo here. This is going to be on Zora, on Sunset, on Zora. This is going to be on Base. But logo aside, you can find out here from the details. No, not the details here. You'll see Base, the contract address for this post or NFT is on Base Scan. Now, when you are creating a post, you have to put it into a collection, and of course you have to institute the collection first, and that's what determines the destination chain where on this NFT will launch. Now, to put that into perspective, now this is not my main account, but do well to follow me. My main account is Surpassing Google. Okay, so I don't have my main account on this PC. I connected here with my phone just to show you the process of creating a collection. Now, I'm social oriented. I post a lot of content, and I also look at Zora as an outlet to do so without too much fear of censorship, as is typical of Web 2 social media. So if you were to choose a file here, and let's say, so you see these collections, they are Zora related collections. So I want my NFTs to be on Base as of now. So I will need to create new collections dedicated to Base, because if I were to select this collection and I end up, creating a post, you can create with Canvas using AI if you desire, but generally I would post my personal content, which is videos. So I do a lot of videos. I'll post that here. You can upload videos. You have to compress it so that it's at least 2 GB. Now this is where you set the duration of the sale. Generally, I believe people like the shorter sale events because the prospect that there are fewer mints of it is higher and all that. But it's not particularly fewer mints that is the issue here. As we have seen so far, Zora is basically illiquid. So I would leave those for now. Now, if you want to adjust the settings of the duration of the sale and all that, you can click here. Now, you don't necessarily have to receive ETH as your rewards. You can also receive another token. You just need the contract address. Now, in this case, this has to be a Zora related token. If you are on the Base collection, a Base related token. Okay, so you can change the mint duration here. Maybe 24 hours is better. And then you can split. If you want different people, if it's a joint effort, you can split the rewards and all. And then you post. Now, if you post into a Zora collection, in the aftermath of the sale event or the minting phase, the token is bound to launch on Zora. Now, it doesn't matter how you pay for the collection. You know, even if you paid using the base chain, you can pay with any chain of choice. You'll be getting the resulting token. I mean, you'll be able to retrade the resulting token on the parent chain, you know, of the, in this case, base. So this, I'll prefer this. It will be a more favorable situation for me, just on the basis of it going to launch on base. Although I wouldn't mint this. Interestingly, it's on trending. Now, now going back, I can mint the entirety of this, for example, and already spark a market. Now, that may be interesting value proposition for some users. Even me, I've thought of it. What if I created a mint just to bootstrap liquidity myself and start an entire community? I would consider the Zora platform as an avenue to do so. As an avenue to do so, but that's a side note. If I wanted to complete this mint, I would just buy the entire what's left of this, and then a market will ensue on Dex Screener. Now, in the course of buying, I can use now, interestingly, it's not allowing me to switch the chains. I don't know why. Generally, you would be able to pay using other chains. So I don't know if there's a way to set this up. I've not seen such a function such that you cannot collect this without bridging. I mean, you cannot collect this except with base. I don't know why that's the case. Generally, you'll be able to do so with... Okay, just a moment. I don't know if it's a browser issue. I'm just going to... Okay, I'm currently on Zora. So I'll just refresh. Generally, I should be able to collect this. Okay, so I can. It's actually a browser issue. So if I don't have funds on base, for example, I can switch to Arbitrum and pay through Arbitrum. It doesn't matter where you pay. What you'll be getting in return is an NFT of the base origin in this case. And then you'll be able to wow. There's an issue with the caching of my PC, I believe, because there's an aspect to this, the sell button. I'm not quite seeing it, but let's go on. We will come to that. Okay, so even if you paid, it doesn't matter what network you used to pay with. You will. What I'm trying to say, if you paid with Optimism, you are minting an NFT of the base variant, and the token for this is going to be instituted on base. Now, this will never get to base if the threshold here is not met, you know, so it will just remain like this, mintable. Now, if it's a 24-hour, let's leave it at that. I mean, before a token is launched for this particular NFT, this has to be fulfilled or completed, the quota here. So for now, 32 means of 1111 more means have to take place to the tune of 1111 before the token is launched on Dex Screener. For now, everybody gets it, collects at the same price. Okay, now let's look at quickly if we can find a sell situation. So I'm going to now on secondary click on this, and typically you would see a sell button here, but it looks like there's a caching issue with my PC. Let's see another one. Okay, it will only show a sell button if you have it, I believe so. So I don't have any of this, so let me look for one that I have. I didn't buy New Beast. Just a moment, let me go to my profile. and go to collection. Okay, so this one. Okay, so you see I have one of this Mr. Beast, and so I can sell it. Now if I click sell, the price of this is 0.09. If I decide to sell, I'll be getting basically 0.09. This is going to happen on the Zora chain, considering this is an object of the Zora chain. Okay, now if I bought this NFT, I wouldn't be able to sell this directly on Uniswap, but I can buy on Uniswap, and whatever I buy on Uniswap, I can sell on Uniswap. I don't know if you get the gist there. To sell, I can only sell on Zora, because you when you mint on Zora, you'll be getting an ERC1155 token. I don't know why, but if you go to, for example, if I go here, DEX screener, and I go on the DEX, I won't be able to find this. I bought this directly on the market. I bought this directly on the market without going through the Zora platform. But assuming you want to sell your one Zora, your one, the one NFT that is shown here, you can only sell it through here. You won't be able to, you won't find it on Uniswap when you attempt to sell it on Uniswap, except you bought on Uniswap. Can you sell through Uniswap? But whichever one you bought or minted directly on Zora, you can only sell here. Now, selling is very simple. Here, you can expand it to see the slippage setting. It's automatic. You cannot edit it here. Now, it ports through Uniswap, interestingly. I don't know why, though. You cannot sell it, whichever you minted here on Uniswap. You can only sell it through this medium. I don't know, maybe they want to get fees and stuff like that. I'm not very sure. Now, if you're using the mobile app, you will not see this sell function. It's not yet fully optimized. Now, I did mint this, even though it had many mints. People think that it could not do well, but I believed that it could. It's just that I made a mistake. I didn't take note that it was on the Zora chain. If it was on the base chain, I believe this would have fared well. Because speaking of the number of mints here, even though there are 500, the market cap will not start very high. In fact, the market cap of Mr. Beast started around, let's say, 80 or so M cap. Now, if you are comparing it to, even if it manages to reach a $1 million M cap, you are in ginormous profit already, especially if you are like in my case where I bought $300 worth. But it ended up on the Zora chain, and the Zora chain practically doesn't have external volume. Now, all these mints here are coming from Zora directly, and these are 111 mint. People are just minting an NFT, likely to, and one will do to gain some on-chain footprint. The dynamics changes on base, where external parties are simply looking for tokens on-chain to interact with. The bots come into play, the snipers come into play, there is liquidity on there. The dynamics changes when it's on base. So that token, even though it had a $500 mint, I still believe could have done well if it was on base. Now, the reason I felt so is because only 10% or 11% of this is added into the liquidity, and an equal amount of ETH. Now, if you factor that in, the market cap would start at, say, let's say 50K. I can't remember exactly, maybe 50K M cap. Now, even if it reaches a $1 million M cap, that's tangible. I expected that this could, assuming it was on base, just a bit of propagation by these entities, it would have gain popularity, but they may still be learning the technicalities of Zora. May have favored launching it on base if they knew of the technicalities in reality. They would have followed through with this to where they propagate the project extensively beyond just earning what they earned here. Although they did earn a tangible amount, but they can have furthered that. This is 28 divided by 4 people. So who knows if they need this video, because I'm seeing based on X that not many people know this. I see, and that's why I felt the need to do this. They don't know it broadly, with the technicalities as it pertains to founders, people looking for speculative trading and all that. So, okay. So I hope that I'm not articulate. By the way, I'm generally an ill person. So just make do with this. You are getting the gist, I believe. Now let's go into some quick due diligence. If we went to the explore page, let's go to trending. Of course, some people may not favor trending. They may look for under the radar means and stuff like that. I'm sure all this Zora Magzi, I'm not sure they know of the technicalities surrounding this, because I would launch this on base, and let's say you are the end user and you are looking to raise funds and have a trendy mint event yourself. I would favor launching the creation on base and going for a shorter time frame. Let's look at this very quickly. So this is going to end in 12 hours. This, I wouldn't expect it to do well. And if I were to buy this at all, I would be buying it from Dex Screener after launch. Try to get a bottom entry, because the likelihood that this will launch on Dex Screener at a lower valuation is high, because we are talking 10% in the LP. Now, speaking 10% in the LP, this is what you mean here. Generally, you don't want that type of let's use Zach 243. I can't. I'm looking for the Zach token. Anyway, a situation where you find like, a market cap of 4 million against an LP of 41,000. It's not the perfect situation overall. Because basically what happens is, the starting market cap, it just contains 10% of the supply. The remainder of that supply is in the hands of people. So you are selling it into a small pool, and that affects the mechanics of price discovery. Something like that, so anyway, let's leave it at that. Okay, so this, for me, I would not max mint this, except it's of a, from a relevant entity, and I just want to have the NFT in my wallet and all that, or for the sake of the Zora airdrop, I may just mint one. But even though this has a small number of mints, I don't think I'll max mint it. I'd favor a situation like this, but where the token is launching on base. Okay. Now, this one is going to launch on base, but I don't see this as any special effort, so I would likely skip this. Even if I was to mint this particular one, I'll wait for it to list on the DEX. Now this one, it also may not fulfill the parameters to list on a DEX. Okay. Now this should also give us insight into what it takes to trend. Okay, so based on what I'm seeing here, you may be able to time your this is ranked on the hourly basis, and I believe at this stage there are not so many prominent means here to where if a particular NFT has like a count of means, it will likely show up here and then progress from there. So you see here the top 10, this just needed 38 mints in the last hour to show up here on the trending page. Now, of course, when you arrive on the trending page, it matters, the algorithms pick you up even further. I don't know if comments is a factor. This is 60%. This is going to be on Zora. So this person, I superficially, I know the person is just raising funds from the mint. Is not interested in the token aspect of it or even know of it, So the situation I would want to mint is of someone who has come to actually launch a token on using the medium Zora. I don't think people know of that productivity aspect of Zora yet, which I'm not seeing any of here. Okay, so in my case, for me, I would not mint any of this shown here for now at the moment. Now, for some, they want to follow the means of Jacob being the founder, because he's now gaining traction, and he's trying to curate the platform. So he's max minting different NFTs. That's what a founder should do to steer the direction of his social media platform. Is basically curation. Okay, now if you look here, this was propagated on X strongly because it came from Jacob. Again, this is on Zora. I would not expect it to perform well based on the parameters shown earlier. Zora is just, look at the volume here, 336, just a plummet situation. Now, if I was to mint an NFT by Jacob, I would favor the Base related ones, but I'm not sure if he will launch on Base, because it's its platform, it's his chain. He will likely want to propagate the Zora chain. Okay, so this managed to do well, to an extent, or sustain its momentum. So if I was to get this, I may be able to. Now, for those who are targeting the Zora airdrop and they want to just mint NFTs on Zora just to improve their NFT count and all that, this is important as well. You don't necessarily have to mint an NFT at 30 cents. So that will put you at a safe position in terms of losses. Also improve your prospects for earning, as well as position you for the airdrop. In fact, probably multiple airdrops. So after a token sale ends, you'll see this is 42 cents. It does have the prospect of plummeting in price since this new iteration. Before, the price would have remained static, but now there's another price discovery element. So an NFT can plummet in price drastically, and then you can max mint it for a cheap amount. Evidence of that, a very simple evidence of that, is with the Jacob NFTs here. So you can see the last one there, 42 cents, but this has plummeted in price, and this is 14 cents. But you can find even way cheaper ones. Now, for some, they may want to just buy max mint as many of the cheapest NFTs of tangible entities, with the prospect that, okay, someday when Zora gains traction, it will find value. Now, this has remained valuable. Let's see. Interestingly, this is on Zora. That's interesting. So one may decide to buy this at its floor if you were to compare it to the others that have managed to rise in value. You see, so a good move. This is 1.40. Now, if you take that into account, this is 20 days old. let's see. Wow, this is $21, 1 month old, called Moon Deng. So a good move. Now, judging by this, a good move for me, even if I was to explore minting at this stage, is to wait for the bottom of this. This is 15 cents. And then mint. I can collect it right here, or I can go and buy it from the exchange. It's routed, the same way. So here now, if I was to max mint this, that would be $15. If it manages to rise in value anytime in the future, then I'll be in a profit. But underlyingly, I'm positioning myself for the Zora airdrop. Now, Zora may factor in fees spent, NFT count and all that. So, okay. So I think we've covered everything. You can also invite people. All you need to do to invite people to this mint is here. If you use Farcaster, it will the post will take the form of a frame and people can mint directly on Warpcast. You can share to Twitter. So some people can build a strategy around that. Now, if I was to post, like I said, I'll be posting on Base instead of Zora. I'll be making the mint period shorter. And I would explore receiving other tokens as well, instead of ETH. Some people may be community oriented and may favor contributing to a project affiliated with their community. I think now, interestingly, you can also look for Base related launches directly here. That's interesting. But a good place to go is trending. You can also follow users and see what they mint and then follow suit. And you also have some insights into what it takes to trend. And this insight is relevant when you are attempting to position yourself to post content on Zora that will trend. Now, productivity wise, very powerful platform. Although I'll explore the application, I've not explored it fully. If it's possible to reply without having to create a mint situation, because generally you comment during the time of collecting an NFT, but I wouldn't know if in the app it's possible to communicate with all these users. Then that's powerful. Of course, you can follow. But where you can actually reply to these users, then you can build a community on Zora. That will improve the value proposition of Zora. Okay. This is on Base. Okay. Let's just have a glimpse here very quickly. Okay. So you see here, there's more vibrancy. There was more traction after launch, rose to as high as 70 cents, more volume as well. Okay, so generally I would say the Base ones are more favorable. Okay, so now if you want to comment, for those who want to comment, because you see these comments, they earn a token called Enjoy. It's a Zora related token, so this is targeting an airdrop. But in general, if you want to comment at the time of a mint, some people may feel that commenting may be a multiplier in the Zora airdrop. So if you want to comment, you comment during the time of the mint. Generally there is I think this is because the mint phase has ended. That's why the comment box is not there. But generally there is a comment box. So let's pick this for example. Okay, so it looks like those during the sale event, you can comment in. So you put your comment here basically. And then you collect on any chain. I think we've covered everything that there is to this at the moment. And that's about it for this video. May it help you. By the way, my username is Surpassing Google on Zora. You can look for me and follow. Okay, I'll put a picture, and that's my ambition. That's the person of me surpassing Google or you can follow airdrop C _com. That's okay. So to conclude the video, find me on airdrop C using the avenue at the bottom of the home page. If you have questions, because I may not have been articulate enough and stuff like that. And subscribe to airdrop reminders here. Look for this publication. I would add it here as a resource for the Zora Airdrop. And subscribe to Web3 Wikis on all socials. My socials are also here on the sidebar. In the description, there are other relevant information there. Exhaust them. Stay awesome. Take action.